What caused it?
What did you say?
The 1% gain.
Yes,
The 1%.
that's
That's
what
super
shaped
young.
me into. What did you say? Mm, and my parents have always encouraged that. I can remember when I was. All right. Okay. So I remember when I would go to sleep, my mom would. Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Chatbot. Mo,
Yeah.
can you give us an earliest context, your earliest days, to be able to understand who you are right now?
Earliest context. My earliest would be way since when I started school. So apparently, my parents sent me to an Arabic school before sending me to a normal English school, right? So, and I'm Muslim, so I started learning things like the Quran, Arabic, and I went to that school like maybe at age 2. Then after like a year, I started doing proper school age 3. And throughout my life, I've always been doing Arabic and English up until high school. Do you understand? So I've learned a lot about God, but that's not the point. The point is because of the fact that I went to the Arabic school, very early on in life, I was introduced to speaking in public. Because of we would learn stuff in class, and
How old were you back then?
like 2, 3, 4, honestly. Um, and that's
That's
what
super
shaped me
young.
into. What did you say?
That's super young. Like,
Yeah, and I believe that's what shaped me into public speaking. And many people see me right now, and they're like, I want to be able to speak like him, be very articulate like him, and they do it for 17 days, and they see they are terrible at it. But I've been doing it for like 17 years. Do you understand? Um, but the point is, we would learn things in class in Arabic school, and an event will be coming up, or a graduation or an assembly. And because I'm one of the best students in class, we would have to present what we learned to the crowd. And naturally, I gravitated and learned the art. So that's like the earliest context. What I learned in Arabic school materialized in primary school. Anytime we were doing anything, they would call Mo to come and present. That led to secondary school. Anytime they are debating, they will call Mo to come and present. That leads to uni. Anytime they are doing anything public speaking, they will call Mo. And naturally, that's what evolved me into the art of speaking.
being labeling as like this kid who can actually perform at the highest level among the rest. Like, how has, like, with hindsight, like, how has that affect you and your performance in speaking or like other aspects of your life? Like,
Yeah, it motivates me actually. It inspires me. It makes me feel alive. Because one thing I realized is I might be good at public speaking, but I might suck at flirting. I might be good at articulating, but I might suck at mathematics. And it has made me gravitate more towards my strength because I realized that I suck at maths, I suck at flirting, yet the people that are good at flirting, the people that are good at maths will come to my DMs, will want to be friends with me just because of I am good at speaking. So very early on, it made me realize that if you're good at something, go all in. Go all in. Do not bother yourself so much about the things you are not good at, unless maybe you need that thing. So I mean, I'm much older right now. I know I need flirting. So in recent times, I've gotten better at the art because I mean, I want to play around with girls and have my fun. Do you understand? But um, what the space of being better at people at some things did to me was realize that if I can be better than them just with 1%, and it's getting me this level of attention, this level of growth, I should do more. And I've always done more. I am a better human being than the human being I was yesterday. Before this call, I I read a book and I've learned some things. So that inspired me to keep on doing better. Because growth, if I'm not growing, then I'm dying. So I want to keep on growing.
The percentage, the marginal gains, the 1% gain,
Yes,
the
sir.
1% learning.
Yeah.
Why do you think that you are doing that for yourself? And when did it happen? When was like the time that he actually switched from this person, this normal person, into the person that you are doing, always
Yeah.
improving? Like,
Yeah.
what make you do that?
Um. Okay. So you asked two questions there. Why the 1% gains and when did it start? So the honest truth is, it's recently that I've gotten to understand the why. I've always done it before because it just made sense to me. The fact that I would watch, and I love football, I'm a Barcelona fan. The fact that I watch Messi do something on the field, and I will go onto the court, I will literally steal my brother's Messi jersey, put it on, and go and play football. And just me wearing the jersey makes me feel like I am Messi. And because of that, I try to do something Messi did. And when I do that, everybody on the court, everybody on the field is like, wow. And the next day they will pick me. They say, Mo, come and play for my team. Right? Little subtle things like that, even from a young age, made me realize that if I learned something and I did it, and everybody is amazed, I definitely want to go and learn more. Do you understand? And that's why I said that it's in recent times I realized the importance of the 1% gains. Because I realized that nobody is rich, nobody is poor. The only reason somebody is richer and we call that person wealthy is because of that person has more than others. It is not because of the amount of wealth the person has accumulated. It's because of the amount of wealth he has over other people, right? The difference between an Andrew Tate and an Elon Musk is Andrew Tate is poor relatively when he's sitting in a room with Elon Musk, but to like a larger, wider sect of people, he's very rich. Do you understand? So, and I realized that that doesn't only happen to riches. The only reason someone is smarter is because of in that field, in speaking, in chess, in mathematics. It's not about what he has learned. It's about what he knows more than the rest of the other people. And that's when I realized that every single day I can do at least one thing. Because if I have the audacity to tell myself that I want someone to watch my video and they will be better than who they were before they met me, then every single time, every extra second, every extra day, I must be better myself than who I was. So, and I do this in everything. I recently started playing basketball like 3 years ago, but every single day I do something to get my basketball game better. I might play, I might not play, but then I might watch a YouTube video that would inspire me. I might watch Kyrie do something. Do you understand? So that 1% growth, that 1% increment growth thing is amazing because it's so little, you don't have to do so much, but before you know it, you've stacked up a lot of growth. It's crazy. The exponential, like every, I'm on holiday right now. Every time I go back to school, my friends are always surprised because I'm always a different mood. I'm like way different. So and it's amazing. And my friends are they're smart too, so they grow too. Yeah.
What do you think make you different from the rest? What what has make you become this way? Why aren't you like the
Um,
rest?
what makes me different from the rest is
What
me.
caused it?
What do you say?
What caused you to become like so different and the one that is like standing out from others like since the early days?
Um, my desires actually. My desires. Um, like I said, naturally, when I look to the TV, when I look to the social media, I see people standing out in different fields. And it only makes sense for me to want to stand out, right? Okay, so I remember when I would go to sleep, my mom would tell me I'm a star. Subtle things like that, that you're different, that you should always come out on top. You are the best. Subtle things like that were wired in me when my brain was still forming. So I believe parents have a very big role to play in how kids turn out. But then not everybody has amazing parents, and some of us might say, because I get a lot of these DMs. Oh, my parents are terrible. They don't support me. They even make me worse than I am. And I tell them to not let that stop them from growing because of your parents. So maybe they are terrible parents too. Like, they can only do what they can do, right? But then if my parents did a lot for me, but right now, if I speak to my mommy and daddy are surprised by the kind of things I say because of other people teach me to. I have other parents. Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Chatbot.
Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I read it, but just the first few chapters, and I heard it's a really, really good book. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I've read it more than 2 times, right? But what I'm saying is, in Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's dad was poor, but he had a rich dad, right? And currently in my life too, I have a rich dad. My daddy is rich, but I have a rich dad. But the point is, it doesn't have to be in money. I have a rich dad, I have a faith dad, I have an health dad. So I don't believe we should let our parents teach us a lot, but then there are so many things we can learn from life. And I'm always learning a lot. Gary Vee is my dad. Yeah.
26-year-old me in Asia right now is already very curious on how you actually come to this point. This level of intellect, the desire to actually wanting to get inspired by the world stars that you actually see. And it's like, before you talk about what you want to do right now, I'm already curious about what and how you get here. And usually, when I do this podcast, I will usually ask to the point where, what are you doing right now and what's or not. But you're just on the early context of your days, and I'm already curious, really curious, and I really like to try to understand over here that what is the thing, like, because for a listener right now who is like trying to understand, they really want to find their desire. I'm not having that level of desire. I'm not having that, oh, I'm getting inspired by this person and that I want to go for to become that person. In hindsight, I guess this is really, really hard. It's like, what is your passion? It's just a very open-ended question that's so hard to actually ask. But right now, with your level of intellect and you looking back, which part of the points, and I'm starting to see some sense that you're saying that your parents played a huge role in helping you to, find out about the thing. And it also feels like that it was just your level of curiosity. And it doesn't matter like what sort of background you had, and no matter what, you will still like be able to, understand what kind of circumstance you are, and that you should be improving because that is what is good for human race. And so right now, like, I look to ask you, thinking back, like, what are the ingredients to be able to like become the person with to develop this level of desire from the start?
So I'm writing a book. Fiona dropped yesterday on my birthday. The title of the book is 11 Letters I Wrote But Never Sent. Right? And the chapter 1 there is Dear Little Mo, right? And that is basically me like excavating some of the earliest things that led into this part. But the reason I mentioned that is we cannot know what we want if we've continued to silence what we used to want. You know how I mentioned a lot of my parents, the curiosity. One thing we don't realize as humans is our desire, the fact that we can want something is the most amazing thing. Animals do not have that crazy desire. Trees do not have the ability to do that. Birds, most of other species are just survival. Eat, give birth, nature like things. But one thing that makes us different is the fact that we can think, the fact that we can want, the fact that we can go for things, the fact that we can learn. And like I said, the thing I believe that stood me out and makes me feel like my life is always amazing every day is I respect my desires. If I want something, I do not suffocate it. I do not stifle it. I allow it grow into my life. And that is what makes many people feel like my life is meh. There's not like a lot I'm looking forward to. The reason is when we were much younger, we had dreams, we had goals, we had desires. But then either our parents suffocated it or society silenced it. Our friends said it was stupid. We believed or we heard from one auntie that it does not make sense. And it's because that auntie herself too never went for a goal. Do you understand? And I was lucky to be in a space where I had people telling me to go for what I want instead of stopping me. So, and
Who are the ones who tell you that?
What did you say?
Who are the ones who actually supported you? Like, Mo, go for it.
Mostly my parents. The fact that thing is, as kids, our biggest voice are our parents. And if your parents support you, no matter what you hear on the outside, the moment you go back home, your parents are going to say some level of things that will ground you. Right? It's as we grow older that we start having external voices. But when we're much younger, our parents, and that's why I say my parents did a very big part of this. But what I'm saying is, many people say they have trauma. Many people say they have to heal. And I feel like many people use that as an excuse to not go for what they want. Like, what I'm saying is, you are at a point in your life right now, and your life is not the most passionate. My belief is the reason that is happening is because of when you were much younger, you silenced a lot of your dreams and your goals and your desires and your ambitions. As a result, right now, anytime right now you have a little inkling towards a desire, naturally, because of you've perfected and practiced the art of silencing, you would silence your current desires and your current ambitions. As a result, you settle for the things that are safe and you settle for the things that society tells you to go to. What I am asking you to do is take a step back, pause. This podcast might be that defining moment for you. Take a step back, pause, ask yourself what you want. What did you used to want? And no matter how much you silence it, it is always there. It is always there. Right now, the negative voice is louder, but the positive voice is whispering. It's always there. So, take a step back, ask yourself what you want, and start from somewhere. You might not know exactly what you want right now, but your first desire might be, I want to know what I want. That is a very good starting point. And from there, just pay attention, observe to the things you want. You might realize you like football. There's a reason you like it. You might realize you like speaking. There's a reason you like it. You might realize you like dating movies. There's a reason you like it. And when you like something, keep on exploring into those parts. Honestly, keep on exploring into those parts. Before you know it, you start to gravitate towards some things, and you start to do some things. Um, the formula for the law of attraction is desire and belief. You must want something first, and then you believe you can get it. So let me give you a very great example. For you now, maybe your desire is, and that's why I said it's always something. You listen to Diary of a CEO by Stephen, and it was amazing what he does with his podcast, right? And you love that, you wanted that. You did not silence it. You did something to start. That is amazing. Most people would silence it, but you didn't. But what I'm saying is, the moment you realize you like something like that, first of all, you might not have the audacity to go for it. But for now, just keep on exploring in that part. And I'm sure when you listen to Steven, you did not immediately go start your podcast. You kept on listening, kept on listening. At some point, you realize that I might not be as big as Steven. I might not get those celebrities, but I can get some people. I can have those conversations. And the fact that you believe that you can have those conversations at some level, you then believe that you go do something that you can do. When you do that something that you can do, you realize that, wow, I settled. I could have done so much bigger. Then your desire increases from little conversations to a proper Instagram podcast. Then you do that Instagram podcast, you achieve something like, oh, I settled. Then realize you can go for so much bigger. Then you reach out to celebrity, like that. The very starting point is pay attention to the things you like. This Amofati is my journal. I journal every day. I have like 3 stacks of this journal. Every time in the morning, before I go into my phone, I write down everything in my head. The very single fact that I write down the things in my head, naturally, within 1 week of writing down, some things will continue to pop up that, okay, Mo, I actually want to start speaking in schools. I actually want to start. It's continue to pop up. Then before I know it, I'll be like, why am I running away from it? Why am I ignoring it? Then I'm going to dive into it. And one day I get invited to speak in school, and from there. So I believe we should listen to go for things. You have to go for something. That's what makes life beautiful. But most of us are silencing it by watching Netflix, watching movies, scrolling. Nah, do you. That's what I believe, fam.
Amazing. Journaling.
Yeah.
When did you start doing journaling?
Since forever. Since like maybe
Wow.
high school. But no, not forever. And I'm going to explain. But I mean, this is not my first time journaling. I must have journaled. You know how we did in high school? Some of us was diary at that time. Just wanted to document some of our memories. But then my relationship with journaling has been weird. I would start it and stop it. And that's what most people do. Start, stop. But somewhere around last year, I started for real. I started something called gratitude journaling. And I dedicate a full chapter to it in my book because it's very important. It's that important. So I realized that the reason I could not journal consistently was because I was giving myself too much to do. Today I might be excited and I'll journal 3 pages. The next day, I don't have a lot to say. Like, I'm not excited. I have a lot to say, but I'm not excited. So it doesn't allow me journal. And because if I did not do it the next day, I won't do it the next day. And maybe until next 2 weeks and I'm inspired again. And we can't always wait for inspiration to do the things that we need to do. So, are you there? Because I can see your...
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it important?
Right, I'm going to talk about it. It's important because of, one, before we let the world tell us things, we need to listen to ourselves. That's why it's important to journal. But what I did was gratitude journaling. I realized I could not be consistent. So I started something called gratitude journaling. Very simple. Every single day, before I go into my phone, that's why I started. But now I've moved into the book and I write a lot more. But before I go into my phone, and if you look at my home screen, there are 3 apps there. Notes, the phone call app, and books, right? But then the moment I open my phone, the first place I go to is my notes, and I write down 10 things I'm grateful for from the previous day. And I can write down anything. I write down I did a podcast with Jackson. My friend said hi to me. That pretty girl said I looked cute. I posted a video and 3 people commented. I like the smell of the jollof rice my mommy cooking. I write down anything. So that's what I've done consistently.
Why is writing this points important?
Yeah, it's very important because of if anybody wants to live an amazing life, there are 2 things. And I know I talked about desire before. The second one is gratitude. No matter how much you say you want to go for what you want, eventually you get those things. But if you're not satisfied and grateful about it, you will go and look for something else to chase again. And you keep on chasing, and you realize that you're living a sad life. You have a big house, but nobody's inside of it. You have a big car, but you don't have friends to ride with you. You are not happy, you're not fulfilled, you're not satisfied. So gratitude is very important. Gratitude and desire. So I'm going to explain it. Gratitude is simply, there are beautiful things happening in your life already. Just you being alive is beautiful. Just the fact that you can fly is beautiful. Just the fact that you're a human instead of an animal is beautiful. So we must always take note of those things, right? And even in the law of attraction, gratitude is like one of the highest signals, right? So when we are grateful for where we are, it makes us go for what we want. Then when you go for what you want and you get it, you become more grateful, and then you being gratitude, then again it gives you the morale to go for more again. So it's both cycle. Desire, gratitude. I learned that from Vishen Lakiani's, I believe, Buddha and the Badass. Yeah, Buddha and the Badass. Right. So that. But right now, I don't do gratitude journaling no more. I journal properly because I consistently did gratitude journaling and I loved it and it's amazing. But now I have more things to say, and because I've done gratitude journaling for a long time, it has made me realize that I can do more, and I'm doing more. So I don't think people when they want to do amazing things and amazing habits into their life, they immediately want to be the highest. They immediately want to work out 10 times a day. They immediately want to read 3 books a week. You can't. People that are reading 3 books a week and 10 times, they've been doing practicing it for a long time. So start very little. You might never do 10. Every single day, go into your notes app, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Start there. Every single day, read a sentence in a book. Start there. The more you do that, it will make you want to do more. And from there, your life will be amazing. Yeah.
Mission driven. And that's all I'm saying throughout this whole entire conversation, like until now, is that I'm seeing this very mission driven person who is this desire that really want to make things happen, and I can see the level of helpfulness that you really want to serve people, and that's what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
And I like to understand, like in this optimistic mode, are there dark days for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are days, every once in a while, a Thursday might come and I don't want to post a video. And some of those Thursdays I will eventually post, some I won't. I really don't beat myself up. I don't spill more milk because of some milk spilled, right? I don't beat myself up for beating myself up. I don't cry because of something messed up, right? I see something happy people know is that it is okay to be sad. Because after the sadness, happiness is coming back. No matter how low you are, the moment you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. After dusk is dawn, right? And there's a Chinese proverb or quote that says, the moment you feel like giving up, just keep on. You are close to your threshold, right? And subtle things like that are there. So I have downtimes. I have days where I question if I'm growing, and I am. The statistics are there, but when I scroll on social media and I see people doing so much more, sometimes I ask myself, what's happening to me, right? But something that has grounded me is perspective. Instead of looking at people that have more than me, I look at people that have more than. Instead of looking at people that have 100K followers, I look at people that have 1K followers, right? And I'm just so grounded. And the reason that is happening for me is I did something that I believe everybody should do. What directs? There's this stuff in 5 a.m. Club, and I read a lot of books. Anytime I talk, I'm always referencing books. 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. There's this stuff that says daily awareness leads to better implementation that leads to better results. The more you know, the better you can do. The better you can do, the better your results. And there's this stuff that James Clear said in Atomic Habits that the people that do good habits don't have better willpower than people that do bad habits. The people that do good habits just make it easier for themselves to do good habits, right? So, you know how I mentioned that on my home screen app, the first 3 things that are there: books, phone call, and notes. If you scroll, the next things you see are podcasts, important things. Before you get to TikTok and Instagram, they are down, 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 down. And sometimes I switch off like the data connection to it so that before I open the TikTok and Instagram, I have to go to my settings and switch on the data on. So I have to tell myself, is there really a reason for me to go? But even when I now go to that TikTok and Instagram, if I give you my phone and you scroll on my For You page or you scroll on my Instagram feed, you'll be better than who you were before you started scrolling. Because of most people I follow are people that are smarter than me, people that have achieved all the things I want to achieve. So naturally, most of my life is media, thoughts, books, text, video, audio that will just inspire me to want to go for more. So most people say social media is addictive, it's a distraction. I'm saying use social media to your strength. All the things you want. Use social media. Like the reason I'm a more spiritually grounded person is because of every time I scroll on my TikTok, just 4 videos, I must see a spiritual video. Sometimes I'll scroll away and I'm not in the mood to listen to it, but I can't scroll away past 4 videos, right? And at some of that, I'll learn something that will make me realize, oh, I need to get closer to God, or I need to get back on my path. Do you understand? So, yeah, I've forgotten the question
You
you asked.
yeah, you mentioned briefly about that you will start comparing yourself with other people. And that is the part that got you to be upset. But are there days that you are in your darkest and whatnot? Because I can see that there's like a pattern of people that it requires a huge dark days for them to actually enter into this level of optimism, a level of wisdom. I can just see
Um,
the light in you. Yeah.
yeah.
When was your like a darkest days, if you
So
can recall?
unfortunately, I'm not like that. So I'm going to explain why. And I have a podcast too, and I interview people there. And most of the times,
Nice.
I see those trends, I see those patterns that for someone to have so much light, most of them they've gone through some level of darkness. To have some level of wisdom, they've gone through some level of foolishness, and it's that foolishness and that darkness that inspire them to rise to light, to rise to wisdom. Amazing. But for me, it's kind of like the opposite. I've been exposed to some level of wisdom, some level of light, and I realized how amazing it is that I want to have more wisdom and have more light so that I can help so many people that are dark. And sometimes I shine my light. It might be so bright like to blind other people's eyes, and they're like, "Why is this boy doing too much?" But I'm not bothered about that. I'm more bothered about the people that will use my light to lead their path. So, but still, as a human being living in this human condition, you can't have good without having bad. You can't have riches without being broke sometimes. You can't be happy all the time. You have to be sad. So I'm a human being, right? And I go through some conditions. I get sad. I've never gotten depressed. I don't even know what it is. And I may have, but I don't see it as depression. Like I don't think I have, honestly. That's how happy my life is, right? So but what I'm saying is, there's not been a lot of dark days. The little darkness I had, like I said, was when I left secondary school and I realized that there was nothing amazing going on in my life. I would just wake up, eat, sleep, play games, watch a football match, chat, go back, repeat the next day. That's like my level of darkness. And some people, they're like, wow, that's an amazing life because their life is shittier. But I'm grateful that was the base I started with, and I'm also grateful that early on in life I was able to stumble on the path that would lead me back into a more fulfilling life. But I just believe that the thing with darkness and dark days and dark times is if you have an amazing routine, your routine would serve you on those dark days because of naturally every single day, whether I'm happy or sad, I must write in my journal. Whether I'm happy or sad, I must read my book. Whether I'm happy or sad, I have videos scheduled to be posted. So the routine I created helped me get out of my dark times very fast. The dark times that happened to me because of the human condition I'm in. So yeah, I believe people need to take a step back and ask themselves what are some things they can put in their life automatically, just right now, that would serve them returns going forward. But what people do instead is the opposite. Right now, they put things in their life that would mess them up later. They follow social media influencers that would make them feel insecure. They follow pages that are about gossips, about things, about rich people that might make them feel insecure. But me, I kind of do the opposite. I only put myself in situations and spaces that would make me feel more better about myself. Yeah. But I don't have dark days. I'm sorry, I can't give you that. I don't have. Let me give you an example. I wanted to study in the United States, and I passed my exam. I got admitted. I got scholarship, but then I did not get my visa. And I went back again. I did not get my visa. I went back for the third time. I did not get my visa 3 times, right? So a natural person, that same thing would have made them depressed. But for me, it has actually made me feel lighter about life. It has made me more humble. It has made me more relatable. So it's something for me to be grateful for. So that's why when you ask me, to me, I don't see it as a bad time. Do you understand? Or maybe I like the girl and she friend zones me, or maybe I applied for this thing. But those things are things that make me even more grateful about my life. The fact that I can try is amazing. So maybe the answer you are looking for, maybe I just see it as something that is nice instead of something that is terrible. But generally, my life is great.
Amazing. And I like to learn about more about life experiences because this
Yeah.
is the main theme that I'm setting up this whole podcast for.
Yeah.
And is that during those days when you are labeled as, the kid who can really perform in front of people, like normally people will feel pressured, that a certain high level of expectation to meet. How was that like for you when you are labeled as this person very obviously from other people? How did you see it back then?
And I still have that pressure right now, and I've always had that pressure since forever. I think I learned how to deal with it since I was a kid. So in Arabic school, I was the person that knew Quran the most. So naturally, there were pressures and expectations, and some students felt like, why is it always more? In primary school, I was so good in my class that they even had to remove me and move me to an upper class. That the teacher would even have to tell me, let another person talk, because I always wanted to answer. Right? So I was good in that level. Do you understand? In secondary school, very early on, I was amazing at academics and spelling competitions, and people would be like, let other people thrive. But I was good at that. In uni right now, I'm making content inspiring people, and even people that have followers more than me, that are doing maybe dance or skit. Sometimes they might be, I inspire them most times, but sometimes they might be triggered that why is this boy just always getting, because in my comments most things are always I love you stop me from committing suicide, and them their own is just maybe emojis. So those pressures, even just being attractive, because I think I'm an attractive person, even just being attractive, some people be like, why are you always nominating Mo for the awards, or why are you always calling Mo to come out, like, do you understand? So naturally, the fact that someone is ahead in life, there are people that would want to feel bash you, and those expectations might get to you. But then one thing I always have is perspective, and if anybody can have perspective, it's amazing. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of how I use perspective to not let expectations to stop me. I'll give you 3 examples actually. The very first one is I realized that for me to be ahead of somebody, there are other people also ahead of me. It's as simple as that, right? If I'm fine, there are people finer than me. If I'm smart, there are people smarter than me. So when people try to, I don't even let that pressure get into me, because of the only reason that pressure will get into you is if you think you are on the top. But the fact that there are people ahead of me, so why would that pressure disturb me? Instead, that pressure will motivate me to try to go higher. That's one. The second one is which one is it again? 3 of them were in my head just now. Let me try to remember. Oh, the second one is right. I have the highest expectation of myself. So I don't bother about people's expectation. What do I mean? So my daddy might want me to get a first class in school. My mommy might want me to be the leader of the Islamic group in school. But me, what I want is to walk on the road and somebody will know me and be like, Mo, I love you from TikTok and I know you. And that happens a lot right now. When I'm home, my daddy will be asking, how are you doing with your grades? I'm doing okay. Let me see your results. I give it to them. Sometimes I eat the first class, sometimes I don't, but I'm not bothered. That is his expectation, that is his goal. Sometimes I achieve it if it falls under my goals, but if it doesn't fall under my goal, I don't disturb myself too much about it, right? the Islamic thing, sometimes I'm leading the forefront. Sometimes I don't even go to mosque at all. And no matter how much my mommy says, and I love them and I try to respect them, but then I realize that it's my life. And I will set the highest expectation I have for myself in every area. Sometimes my mommy, my daddy, the society will set expectations that are lower. And I'm not supposed to try to meet it. They have low expectations of me. That's their business. Sometimes they will set higher expectations. That's their business. I'm going to go for what I want because in my own field, in my own space, I set the highest expectations for myself and I try to meet that. So if I satisfy myself, I don't bother about people. And the last one, I don't know why it's leaving my head right now. I cannot remember. You said pressure. You said okay. Yeah, the last one is I always reverse engineer. I always and it's an amazing tool everybody should use. So if someone looks at me and like, Mo, you're the one that is always getting first. I take a step back, I come out of my body and I try to enter into that person's body and realize how that person is thinking. And most of the time, if someone says something like that, maybe they are insecure, right? So it's them, it's not me, right? If someone says, Mo, you are amazing, I love the way you speak. I like that, but sometimes I come out and I enter into their body and I realize that, wow, they are just admiring. It's their own reflection, not me. So I believe people should always reverse engineer. Like come out and see things from many perspectives to make you realize that you should just do what you want in the very end. People always have things to say and people always have opinions, but do you? Yeah.
Fast forward from back then until today, content creation is a big part of your life. You even consider school to be like the part-time and content creation is like the main thing.
Yeah.
And you briefly mentioned about someone commenting to you suicide.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be able to help that person?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. It's the reason I started. The fact that Jay Shetty video made me want to do more and I'm doing more. I've always wanted to give that orgasm to people and now I give it to people every day. It's amazing. And I get different levels. There are different levels. Before it was always amazing. Oh, I like your videos. Or if you're walking on the road, I know you. I'll be walking with my friend. Or sometimes I might be feeling a girl. Like the girl is pretty, but I do not have the confidence to go talk to her. She'll walk up to me. Oh, Mo, I know you from TikTok. And from there, I start my flirting, get the number. It's amazing. But the deep ones are things like, Mo, you stopped me from committing suicide. There was one I got where the girl said, Mo, I hate you, but I love you. The reason I hate you is because of every time I'm about to do something wrong or something bad to myself, you just pop into my head. And even though it's good, but still I want to do what I want to do, but then you're always in my head. Things like that are nice. I've heard people say that because of me, they are Christian, but because of me, they want to become better Christians. Do you understand? So it's amazing that my existence makes other people's existence better. And I love it, honestly. I love it.
When you're answering about this question, you seem really emotional about it. Why is that?
Because of it's not basic. Yesterday was my birthday, and I know how most people's birthdays go. Wishes, some maybe your family and friends pray for you. But the kind of messages I received yesterday, the kind of calls from random numbers I received yesterday, kind of emails I received yesterday were different. They are just different. The levels of prayers, the kind of things people like. One day I was walking on the road and somebody said, "Yo, the O2 boy." And so the O2 is like the O2 Arena is a big stadium in London, right? That musicians do concerts in. But I've set a goal for myself that one day I'd like to sell it out, but doing a motivational concert. And it's 20,000 people in that stadium. That's a very big goal. But then I've said that so many times that now people know me for that. If you go through my comment of the birthday wishes or just randomly, you will see people say things like, I can't wait to be there with you at the O2. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing, and it just shows the amount of level of commitment I've put in to just put it out, to just inspiring people. And many times I might not know what I am doing, but people are watching, people are seeing. And when I hear it, when I get those emails, when I get those calls, it's like yesterday. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, so I put out for my book. So my mommy reposted it. So one of her friends wanted to patronize me, so she bought the book. So as she was buying the book, she was watching my video. Then her son was walking in the background. And her son was like, "I know that boy. I know that boy from TikTok." So the mommy told my mommy, and I just smiled. And I looked towards my dad. My dad smiled too. So that's what I'm saying regards expectations. They might have expectations of me in certain things, but if I continue to excel at my own expectation, that's just nice. That's just nice. So yeah.
What does that moment mean to you when someone recognized your work and you saw your mom, your parents acknowledging that? What does that mean to you?
Ah, makes me makes me blush. It gives me butterflies. So you know how girls say they have butterflies. I've never gotten that kind of butterflies from like liking somebody or having a crush on someone. But I've gotten that kind of butterflies when I hear things like this happen. It's the nicest thing ever, right? And also it makes me want to do more. It makes me realize that the path I'm on, even though it's uncharted territories, it is a territory worth charting. There are not many. I mean, in the Western world, maybe there are many people doing that, the likes of Gary Vee, Jay Shetty. But where I come from, not many people make those kind of videos. Everybody is rushing to be famous, to be rich. Most of my friends want to make crazy money. They want to do forex. They want to like everybody has different goals. And when people hear the kind of goals I'm trying to go towards, it's weird. It's different, but it's what I want, and it makes me just go more on that part because every single day that I do more makes me realize my dream is actually possible. It is possible.
Are you optimistic about the level of impact you will have for people?
I'm delusional about it. I'm delusional. I'm not optimistic. Cannot even define it. The level of impact I have currently, maybe I might say I'm pessimistic about that because I do not know how much I have done. Because not everybody says stuff until they see you. But the level of impact that I will have, even I cannot fathom it. I can't fathom it. People say I'm confident about it, and I reply I'm overconfident about it. Um, why? Because that's the only possibility I see. Like I said, doubt is such a useless emotion, wasted. What will happen will happen. Either I win or I lose. But my goal is to come to the field and give a beautiful show. The amount of people that show in the stands, none of my business. Whether it's 1, 10, or 10,000, none of my business. My goal is to do a beautiful show, and someday many people will show up. Someday, yeah.
Emotional. That's what I'm able to sort of sense for everything you say. And the most one that you mentioned about Jay Shetty multiple times, and that every single time that you mention him, you are able to feel emotional about it. Like, why and how has Jay Shetty impacted your life?
Um, the reason I feel a lot of emotion when Jay Shetty pops up, I don't believe it's the one that has impacted me most. I would even put Gary Vee over in regards to people that have impacted me more. Gary Vee made me start. Gary Vee keeps me going. Gary Vee inspires me. But the reason Jay Shetty's triggers a lot of emotion is it was the turning point for me. That video, I promise you, and my mommy sent me that video. And naturally, my mommy sends me a lot of videos, Islamic videos, motivational videos, health videos, and I ignore them. Sometimes I watch some, sometimes I don't, right? But I watched that one, and it intrigued me, it made me pause. I remember that time of my life, I was just doing what every other person was doing, average life, doing the same basic shit. And the fact that a video could make me pause and go start something in my life, and I'm still on that path, I'll always be emotional about it. Just for musicians, how maybe their first album makes them emotional, or for footballers, how one defining moment they watched one match and it makes them realize they want to do that. So that's the reason I'm always emotional when I try to talk about the Jay Shetty stuff, because you don't understand. I was just playing. I just wanted to learn, but now I'm doing so much more things. And that's the amazing thing about life. Sometimes we come out and we write these New Year's resolutions, we set goals, but what God has in stock and in plan for you is so much more bigger than that. So we should plan. God plans, and God is the best of all planners. So it's amazing. Makes me emotional. Yeah.
You said that was like the one of the biggest turning point. Why is that? Like, why after so long and then you suddenly have this turning point after encountering this
Yeah.
video?
Yeah. Because I finally had evidence. I finally had evidence, right? Most of
What
us,
evidence were you looking for?
yeah, right. Most of us have goals and dreams, and most of us deep down know we are destined for greatness. Everybody knows it. No matter how much life has swayed you and distracted you from that truth, since the day God created you, God is greatness, and God cannot create anything more than greatness. So we are naturally wired to be great, to do amazing things. But society has distracted us a lot, right? And that's me. I was distracted a lot throughout life. Just like I was just settling, doing basic things, doing average things. And Jesheti was evidence that there was more, that there was possible, that there was potential, right? And the fact that I saw that evidence made me realize that, wow. So it's the same thing with like the desire and the belief thing. Sometimes you might want to make 1 million, or you want to inspire 1 million people, but you don't believe it until you see someone do it. Another person I'm going to mention is King Na. Along the ways of me learning a lot after Jay Shetty, I didn't still realize that maybe I could talk to people. Then I saw King Na. As at the time, I think I was 16. King Na was about 13. And King Na was inspiring people. And I was like, I thought age was my problem until I saw someone younger than me doing it. Evidence. And there's always evidence, no matter what you say. There's always someone poorer. There's always someone younger. There's always someone with less efforts that are doing the things you say you don't want to do because you believe you cannot do it. So Jesheti was evidence for me, and once I got the evidence, there was nothing stopping me. And right now in my life, there's still many things I'm scared of that I want to achieve that I'm scared of. But I will see evidence, and the moment I see evidence, I go. And the fact that I'm saying this low key in my mind, I'm already asking the universe to give me evidence. And it might not happen now, but the evidence will come at exactly the right time. And boom, I start being on my path and keep going. So I don't always rush people. Many people text me like, I don't know my passion, I don't know what I'll do in my life. And I'm like, for now, just have the intention that you want to know your passion. You don't have to know it immediately. The fact that you want it, the universe will start suggesting things to you. Eventually, you find your evidence and you go.
We covered a lot of things, many different aspects of your life, many of your life journeys and your encounters. What is the things that we have missed out during this whole conversation that you think that you like to cover?
Let's talk about chapter 3 of my book, Dear Forbes. Dear Forbes. Dear Forbes. Dear Forbes. So the title of my book is 11 Letters I Wrote But Never Sent. And the concept is, I believe there are some important parts in our life that we need to have on check if we want to grow. And the tagline of my book is, don't pick between rich or happy. You can have both. Screw the or. Right? So I think in our life right now, we know many people that are very rich. We know many people that are very happy, but we don't know many people that are like crazy rich and crazy happy. So because of there's not many evidence regards that, we don't even try to go for that. But me, I'm going for that. And the little evidence I can gather from the world, I will try and be on my path. And that's what my book is about. So there are 11 letters. Dear Lumo is a letter to my younger self. Dear Mr. Lomax is a letter to the first principal of my high school. So I had a lot of beautiful experiences in my high school. And I truly believe that in the very end, we will all be stories, right? So our job is to make sure our story is one beautiful stuff to tell. So in that chapter, I talk about how it's important we have experiences. Chapter 3 is Dear Forbes, and I'm going to come back to it because that's what I want to talk about. Dear Aurora is chapter 4. Aurora is like another name for the sun. The sun. And I believe a morning routine, a good morning routine is important for a beautiful life. And I talk about it there. Dear Soulmate is where I talk about love, lust, dating. Dear God is where I talk about how it's important to have faith. Dear Journal is where I talk about it's important to write down gratitude. Dear Harvard is where I talk about the rejections I faced in life and how when you get a no, it's really a yes. Dear You is where I finally write a letter to the reader. I tell the reader how they can start going towards their dreams. Dear Big Mo is me writing a letter to my future self, telling it all the amazing things I want to do and that life will be good. But let's talk about Dear Forbes. Dear Forbes is about money, right? I believe that in the world we are currently, all of us still want to be rich, but we don't know how. We're just trying. If you want to learn how to cook, you go and meet a chef. If you want to learn how to drive, you go and meet a chauffeur. If you want to learn how to fly the plane, you meet a pilot. If you want to learn how to dance, you meet a dancer. And there are many dancers, there are many pilots, there are many chauffeurs, and there are many chefs in the world. But there are many rich people, but we don't know a lot of them. The kind of wealth, if you talk to many people and ask them, how much do you want to make? I want to be on the Forbes list. I want to have $1 billion. How many billionaires do you know personally? Zero. The people we know in our immediate society don't have the kind of wealth we want, right? So, and it's in the Rich Dad Poor Dad then, where that's why that guy has a rich dad, because his daddy is poor. His daddy does not have the kind of money he wants, so his daddy cannot teach him how to get there. So he had to go reach out to someone that could teach him. But the point in Dear Forbes is I talk about how um, if we really want to make money and be rich, like most of us say we want, we should not spend 7 days cutting down the tree. We should spend 6 days sharpening the saw and use 1 day to cut down the tree, right? And it talks about financial literacy. There is an art and science to making money. They say if you take away the money from everybody in the world and share it equally, in a very short amount of time, that money is going to return back to the rich people's pockets because they understand the art of making money, keeping money, and growing money. And for the past 3-4 years, that's what I've been focused on: learning, talking to people that understand money, reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon. And I learned that making money at the simplest level is when first you earn some level of money. After you earn that money, put it into something, let that money work for you, and that money will pay dividends. So an example of what I did was one time I bought consoles, PS3, PS4.
Right.
I gave it to somebody that has a game house, right? That's what he does. I gave it to him and I told him that how many returns, like how much will he give me per week, and he calculated how much his profits will be. I said he should take whatever he wants to take and he should give me some level of money. And so every week he would give me some money, and after like 3 or 4 months, I've made the exact money that I used in acquiring that game. So from after that 4 months, all I'm making is profit. One. But more importantly, any single day I can go back and take my PS4, I can sell it to somebody else, I still make money. That's basically real estate at the simplest level. You buy a property, you rent it out, you make money, the rent at some point gets so much, and you can still always sell it. So I still don't know a lot about money. Many things I still know are theoretical, but I'm learning a lot. And I feel like most of us are spending so much time hustling, cutting down the saw, when we should be sharpening our saw and learning about money if we really desire to be rich. But most of us don't desire it. We wish for it, but we don't fully want it. Because if you want it, you will know that you need to learn first.
Amazing. Love the sharing. Multitude of topics and subject matters that you have covered. And I love that you are able to, dive deep into every single topic. Optimism is something that I observe from you. You really truly living in the moment. That's how I actually try to want to actually describe it. That when you are talking about moments when you are experiencing something, I can feel that when you are talking to me, I'm at that place. I'm being present, and I can feel the level of presence that I'm seeing in you, and just smart, wisdom, wise. That's why I see in you that you are able to take books, although it's like not the first-hand experience, which I think that a lot of people of us that we need to first-hand experience the thing, and like what we say, that go through the dark times and go through the trauma before we actually learn stuff. But I'm seeing that when you look at the books, you are able to have that level of emotions towards the books, the words in the books, and that you are able to like put it into your life. And I find that to be amazing and just a transformative conversation with you so far. And I like to come on to this closing tradition. Unfortunately, you know, this one last question. How are you doing?
I've never felt more amazing about my life. I feel so at ease. I feel so calm. That's what I'm doing. That breath I just took, that's what I'm doing.
Like, it feels like you're in peace at this phase of your life.
Yeah, and I've not always been here, but I've learned to choose here because in the very end, I watched a TikTok video yesterday and it says there are two types of people. Maybe the goal is to reach the finish line, right? And you're going to, there's a traffic light. And you are driving there because of you do not want the traffic light to stop you. You don't want to get it on red. But me, I'm driving there and I want to get there whatever time it gets me, right? So eventually we get to the traffic light and we're both stopped at red. But there's a difference. The difference is me, I drove there with such calmness and such ease and such peace and such flow and bliss. But you drove there with a lot of aggression, anxiety, and the thing is we got there at the same time, right? But then you chose to make it stressful for yourself. So that's the same way I see many things with our life. Many of us are rushing to get somewhere. See, you get where you get. You get where you get. Just make it easier and make it better for you to enjoy the ride by just being calmer. You can still have desire and have speed and still be in a calm moment. And that's what I've chosen for myself. To just enjoy where it is that I am right now. Because where I am right now, I once prayed for it. So, yeah.
You said you were not having this level of peace before that. What happened
Yeah.
that got you here?
Yeah.
That got you
Um.
into this level of peace?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the difference between both of them. I try a lot of things, so I saw what it felt like, just always rushing, trying to get the million followers. Trying like when I first started, my goal was I just wanted to hit 10,000 followers, and I saw how much I rushed to try to hit 10,000 followers, and I achieved it. And I'm like, why did I have to rush so much? Like, why did I have to stress myself? And when I between my 10K and 20K, I rested. I was more calm, and I achieved it in almost the same amount of time, right? But then I felt calmer. So it's just like everybody's rushing to reach the top of the mountain, and in the very end, you may realize it's the wrong mountain you were climbing, or you may realize that you missed the important parts. That's the view. The view, because everybody will get to the top of the mountain eventually if you do your best. But the views along the way, did you pause? Did you take a breather? So I have been in a state of anxiety, turmoil, trying to force things to happen. and I've also been in a state of allowing things flow, and I realized that flow is better. So right now, I consistently choose flow. Once in a while, I might slip back into force, but I always get reminders to get back into my flow. When you enter an airplane, um, the houses down on the floor, the hotels, the buildings, they are all bigger than you. But then you enter into that airplane and that airplane takes flight into the sky, and those same houses that were bigger than you turn into tiny small dots. And that's the same thing with life. When you are in the middle of a problem, it feels like everything is bigger than you. When you've not achieved your goal, it feels like life is struggling. When money is not yet there, it feels like everything is annoying. But our goal is to find the airplane, the vehicle, whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling, whether it's God, whether it's gratitude, to rise above the level of our problems, rise our consciousness above that, because the problems will not stop coming. So our job is to continue rising. So my life is amazing, but my life also has a lot of turbulence, a lot of troubles. But I've chosen to continuously rise, and my life is still amazing with those problems in it. So I believe that's what we should all do. We should get to a point where we don't let life's problem stop us from our actual reason of being alive, which is to live. Just live, enjoy. Everything will be soft. Everything is soft already. Thank you, Jackson, for having me.
Amazing, amazing.